Welcome to the complete animation and CGI course for Blender. This first session is an introduction to Blender's user interface. If you have absolutely no prior knowledge of Blender, this lesson is for you. I'm running Blender 4.2. Version 5 was released just a few days ago. We'll take a look at the new features in the later lesson. When you open Blender for the first time, before doing anything else, go Edit, Preference, System. Make sure your compute device is not set to none. Depending on your GPU, you should select one of these options. If your GPU is NVIDIA, you typically choose CUDA or Optics. GTX card, CUDA, RTX series, Optics. If your GPU is AMD, choose OpenAPI. If your GPU is Intel, choose HIP. Since my card is NVIDIA GTX, I select CUDA. Once you pick that, Blender will show your CPU and GPU and let you decide which devices to enable for rendering. Some people choose to render only on the GPU, others prefer enabling both GPU and CPU. So Blender can use whichever hardware needed. Because you're a total beginner, I'll enable screencast keys so you can see which keyboard keys I press. That makes it much easier to follow along. When you select any object in a 3D scene, the selection is reflected in the outliner panel. For example, if I click on the camera object, you'll see the camera get highlighted in the outliner tool. Press A to select all objects in the scene. Press Delete to remove selected all object. You can press Shift A to add a new element to the scene. The Add menu includes Mesh, Light, Camera, and other categories we'll use later. A mesh is simply a set of vertices, points connected together to form a face and edge. If I add a UV sphere, Blender places a sphere in the scene. From shape like this, you can start modeling anything you imagine. You can zoom in and out using the scroll wheel. Hold the middle mouse button and move the mouse to orbit around the scene. Hold Shift and middle mouse button while dragging to pan the view. That three-colored fidget in the corner is the gizmo. Red is X-axis, green Y-axis, blue is Z-axis. Clicking the green axis puts you into the Y-axis view. You'll see the scene flattened to that view. Drag the bottom area up. This is the timeline. It shows time in frame, not seconds. Press space to play the timeline, even if there is no animation yet. When it reads frame 250, it loops back to the start. That little corner widget in the timeline lets you swap the timeline panel for other editors. For example, you can replace the timeline with the outliner if you prefer. The Blender workspace is very flexible and you can change it depending on your task. On the right is Properties panel. Whatever you select, its properties are editable there. Under Transform, you can change location XYZ, move the object in 3D. The Scale field lets you resize the object on each axis. For example, I increase the X value to make it wider. If you want to scale all axes together, select all fields and type a number greater than 1. The viewport shading mode are here. You can switch to wireframe to see the mesh structure. Solid is the default. The next mode displays material on the model. The last option is the real-time render view. If there are no lights or material in the scene, it will appear dark. At the top left of the 3D view, you'll find the mode selector. By default, you start in object mode. Switch to edit mode. Unlike the default object mode, which is used for moving, rotating, scaling, and basic transformations, edit mode is designed specifically for modeling. You can also switch between object mode and edit mode by pressing the tab key. Now in the edit mode, you can see all the vertices, edges, and faces. In the edit mode, you can choose selection mode, face, edge, or vertex selection. Also, by pressing 1, 2, 3 keys on your keyboard, you can quickly switch between vertex, edge, and face selection mode. For example, press 3 or switch to face select. Press A to select all faces. Press Alt plus E to open Extrude menu and choose Extrude individual faces. Move your mouse. What's happened? Each face will extrude along its own normal. If you make a mistake in modeling, press Ctrl Z to undo. Blender has a limited number of undo steps. We can increase the limit later if needed. Sculpt mode is another workspace. It gives us sculpting brushes. Now let's take a quick overview of this left side panel as well. The first one is the default select tool. I can switch the edit mode, set it to face select, and then select any part of sphere's face with it. Up to this point, every tool I introduced has its own shortcut, and in real production modeling, I basically use shortcuts for almost everything. You can hide or show the left toolbar with T and hide or show the right sidebar with N.